whistle. I could deal with it. All right, no clutch in this one. Oh, everything's power in this, so I've got to get used to using a car that has powered seats and powered everything. So we'll leave the windows down. Obviously, this is going to be quite a bit more muted than the insane GT4, but we're getting in this right after the GT4, so we'll go manual just like normal paddle shifting. Everything else is a lot like, you know, like an RS or any other Porsche. So all the interface, all that stuff is the same. So this is a Turbo S. So you're looking, you know, what the base turbo that I drove last year, which is the same guy Rich's car, was that car was 520 horsepower stock. Now this one, when we go up to the Turbo S, you're 565. Again, don't quote me on that, but I think it's 565 horsepower. But now this has a GIAC tune, so we're around 660, 670 is estimating. So this car has JRZ suspension, Capristo full exhaust, so a much different driving experience, but very similar to what I would do, you know, if I had a turbo as well. So let's go for a spin. He has axle lift, Sport Plus.
Yeah. Sport Plus there, and then
kill the darn auto stop start.
20 seconds of unlimited everything.
Yeah, have you ever used Overboost?
No, how do you do that?
Just hit that button
when you're driving?
When you take off, and it'll overboost for 20 seconds.
So I have to hold it while I'm doing it?
No, just hit it, and then you're good.
Then you got 20 seconds.
I do it right here?
In the rock.
All right, so I just learned something more about Turbo S. So clearly, a little different audible experience coming down the hill here. But this is a much more sophisticated car that you would buy and drive around, you know, drive from home to office. Oh my gosh. So let's go windows up, AC on as if we're going to the office. We'll get into Overboost after we get a little time with the car. Sunroof, full 18-way seats. Every possible option you can imagine is ticked on this car. Now, Rich bought this secondhand, so the guy who bought this originally literally ticked every potential box. The first thing I noticed, I'm sitting up a little higher, or a lot higher than the GT4. You can hear the blow off. But a really comfortable place to be. I mean, I feel like I'm floating in luxury here. I mean, this has carbon fiber everything. I mean, you can definitely tell. I know it's been a year since I was in the turbo, but this thing, Turbo S, red line is 7,200 RPMs. I'm afraid of what would happen if I mashed it. Oh my God. Shoot. So this is going to be, 30, 40 horsepower less than the GT2. There's just torque, just pulling. And then we have the same great brakes that we have on the GT cars. This has carbon ceramics like my GT3 RS. Wow, this JRZ suspension is really great. It's very odd, very rare to see anybody mess with a Porsche suspension, but this is definitely good. Like really scary good. And then you have all that torque with immediate response. Like I don't feel any, there's a little lag there. Oh, there's my car. I'll let Tal take it out for a spin. Wow, it's 100. I didn't even come close to 100 in the GT4. So the seating position, and I played with the seat a little bit here. I think I have it all the way, I have it all the way down. He's got the lumbar thing sticking in my back. Fix that, but the seating position is quite a bit higher. But the, PDK, same grade. Now this doesn't have PDKS, so if I pulled the paddles, it wouldn't go into neutral. And it's, it's a few milliseconds slower shift time, but there's third, second, instant. Yeah, this thing is great. I like this much better. I like the turbo, but I love this. I like this a lot. This is your amazing complement to somebody who doesn't want the harshness and then all the noise and all the drama that the GT car has, and someone who likes the red light to red light performance. You do a simple tune like this, and the thing is just insane. All right, so when we get up here, let's try Overboost. Oh shoot! Oh, so it gives you 40 seconds, and the timer goes of extra boost. So who knows how many horsepower I'm getting then? But I don't feel a sensation like with all the torque that the car is going to come around on me. It's really linear. Now there is some lag, so hammer and then bang, and then you feel the torque. But there's no reason to leave third gear in this car. Whereas the GT4, I'm hunting for gears all the time. This thing, you can just stay put. So since we're behind this truck, let's get some sounds with the windows down. Yeah, you can hear them spooling. We're at 4,000 feet. The turbo isn't having any issues sucking air. But it's certainly a different audible experience. You hear the turbo whistle, you hear a little bit of blow off, you can hear them spooling. Thank you. Great exhaust. There's not a lot of noise happening in this experience. Whoa, shoot. But you get that pull you back into the seat feel that you don't get with a non-turbo. But there's all kinds of mechanical noises. It just sounds like they put it sounds like there's an acoustic panel between me and the motor, which is what I think you would want if you were more civilized. You weren't so much of a heathen like I am. The car feels so light. Feels like a 911. Only a really, really nice one. I love that. There's that little turbo whistle you get when you're on and off the throttle. Blow off. But I do feel, I'm not gonna lie, I feel a lot more relaxed driving this car. I think that's the point. Like, I want to just kind of kick back and let the torque just pull me through. All-wheel drive and torque just do its thing. And I feel like I'm driving about the same speed as the GT4, but I don't feel like it. Like, I feel like I'm driving slowly. 12 more seconds of overboost, just in case you need a little bit more horsepower to pull out. Probably the tune does a little bit for that, but it doesn't, It's not life-changingly different pressing that button. But I feel like I got up here a lot faster. That's what I should have done. I should have timed my how long it took me to get to that spot. But there is a massive difference in the GT4 and how it feels. Just that I keep saying weight transfer, but how much feedback you get steering feel, and then how the car wants to come around the turn. It's just very, very different. Also, having the sport buckets, I have to fight a little harder to stay in position in this car than I do with the sport buckets. And I keep downshifting the second here, but really don't need to, because coming out of the turn here, third gear, there's no reason to be up in the RPM range, which I'm so accustomed to in my GT3. It's just not necessary with all that torque. But it is so quiet in here. It's incredibly quiet. Both road noise, because I think these are PS4s on this car. Gear, I don't need it, because look, too much power. I'm at like, oh, jeez. I mean, you're at 100 fast. So I'm going to stay in third, come all the way down to 3,000 RPMs around the turn, 3,300 RPMs, and pull right out, right back in power. Brake, 4,000 RPMs, 4,200, get through the turn, pull. Just stay in third gear. Going about 75. I don't notice any understeer or anything. I mean, this car's just so balanced. I mean, the typical Porsche, typical 911. And because I've been driving around in the RS now, this doesn't feel any wider. Whereas last year when I drove the turbo, that was the biggest difference I felt. Was the car just, it feels it's a lot wider than the regular GT3. Although we have almost 700 horsepower, I never feel the sense of, like I'm lacking traction, or the car's going to want to come around on me. I'm sure if I stabbed it here, the rear end would come around, but I don't find myself having to be any more careful with this than I do with my GT3. I mean, it largely has to do with all-wheel drive too. The thing definitely moves. Get a little bit of intake sound, a little bit of induction. But right there, not a whole heck of a lot of exhaust. But if you're not, I think, if you're not accustomed to or don't like a lot of volume, it does make enough noise too, and there's not all this fake sound being pumped into the thing. But man, if you live in Atlanta like Rich does, and you're driving to the office, and this is pretty heavily modified, but you don't have any vibrating, you don't have any discomfort. You notice a little bit of tire noise, but just a comfortable place to be. This has amazing, it has Burmester. This is a Burmester audio system, which is nice to have. I mean, I wish they put that in the GT3. That would be amazing. So you're just in a nice, really great place to be. And then you have all the torque. If you're a torque guy, that torque just puts you in your seat, no question. Let's do Overboost, third gear. I'm at like 3,000 pull. That's just sick. There's a quick 17 PSI. But yeah, I mean, the turbo isn't the car for me. Even as soft as I am at times, I mean, the emotion of having the noise is what really, that's my bag. I really like that. That's the part I enjoy the most. But this is the ultimate commuter car, I think. The ultimate commuter sports car. And a turbo whistle, first gear. The axle lift up. I'm glad they mentioned going into Sport Plus. It would have been a little while before I figured that out. The turbo spool. I'm really interested to see how the GT2, because it'll feel like you're sitting in a GT3, but have all the torque of the turbo. What that's like. So there you have it. GIAC tuned, highly modified Turbo S. It doesn't feel modified at all. This feels bone stock, minus the extra horsepower. I can back up in this. Look, I got a backup camera, the whole thing. The whistle. I could deal with it. Turbo S. Next up, I don't know. We'll see. What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor, foot to the floor.